what will my home sell for? I'm sure you've looked on Zillow and gotten your Zestimate. There's other automated value models online that you may have seen. I have access to some of that stuff as well. So I'll put together a report from one of my secret realtor resources. Plus, I will do my own research. I'll dive into what has sold in the past probably 2-3 months. With the market now, the sooner sales have closed more recently, the better off we'll be. So I'll do my research and go through that. And then once I have all that complete, we'll have a conversation about excuse me, what I think your house will sell for. So, and we can discuss on how to approach that in this market. Where should we start as a list price, and ultimately where I think we'll end up getting a contract. How long will it take for my house to sell? Well, in a balanced market, you're typically looking at about maybe 2 to 4 weeks to get your house ready to be on the market. Once we're up and active and receiving showings, I would bank on about 30 days to 60 days to get an acceptable offer. There's a lot of factors involved with that. The condition of your house, where it's located, lots of things play into that, and how fast it will sell. Price is a big one of those factors as well. And then it should take about 30 to 40 days to close a transaction once we've accepted an offer. So you're looking at probably 75 to 120 days, depending on what has to happen up front to get your house ready to sell. Do I need to prep my home for sale? Yes, you're 100% going to have to do some prep to get your house ready to sell if you want to get top dollar. If you're not able to make any repairs or do anything, then there are certain things that we can do. Clean and bright are the best thing we can do. Obviously, if your house has some bold colors, we'll have a conversation about that, and things that we can do without spending a ton of money getting your house ready for market. So the more that you can do and the more neutral your home can be, the more buyers you'll cater to. What are your commission rates? Well, right now I'm offering a tiered system where you can choose. My fee will be 2.5%, 3%, or 3.5%. And then we can also discuss how much you want to offer to a buyer's agent that will bring you a buyer. In this market, traditionally 3% is about what is offered. There are no standard commissions, so everything's negotiable. I've seen with the extreme sellers market we had, there was a lot of pressure on buyer side commissions because there were so many buyers interested in houses, and just natural supply and demand there. So commission rates, probably the most prominent average buyer side commission is 2.5% right now. I've seen some 2, starting to see more 3% as the market balances out. So we'll have a more in-depth conversation on why I think you should offer as much as you're comfortable with. Realtors are, for the most part, humans in general are very self-serving. So the higher that commission, the less likely a buyer's agent is going to exclude your home from a tour. So I'd like to see you offer 3% on the buy side. We will have a conversation about that. We'll also go into detail about what services I offer at 2.5%, 3%, and 3.5%. How much money will I get after commissions and closing costs? I'll put together an estimate based on my experience with past transactions and different title companies on what I think all the fees will be, what your share of the property taxes, any HOA transfer fees, all of that, if you have to pay for a home warranty. I'll put together a detailed breakdown of what all the broker commissions are going to be, plus all the closing costs. That way you have, we can even incorporate your loan balance if you know it. That way you can see a clear picture of approximately what you would net from a sale, and we'll do it for several different prices. That way you have a good understanding of what is reasonable for you to expect from a sale of this property. What marketing will you do to sell my home? Well, it's a long laundry list of all the things that I will do once I have a new listing and taking it to market. The most prominent things are professional photography is a must. My job is to promote your property to as many buyers and across the market as I can. And your home's a product, so it's important that we show it in its best light. And professional photography is the best way to do that. And that is the best tool for me to take to the market and pique curiosity of potential buyers so that they'll want to come see your house. So I also do some video across all the different social media platforms. Depending on which tier of commission rate that you choose will dictate the level of the marketing that'll be done across all the different social platforms. Plus, I have relationships with lots of agents in different parts of the city. So depending on where your property is, I have a list of agents that I'll go through and reach out to, see if they have any buyers. Plus, I have my own database of people that I've talked to that may be looking for a home. It's a slim chance that I've got that buyer in my, already in my database, but you never know. So I'm going to explore every option that I have available to me to help us track down a buyer. What's the old saying in marketing? I know half my marketing works, I just don't know which half. And that's very true in real estate too. I do all of these things because I've had success in the past with generating interest. I'm not on every avenue, on every property, but I have had interest show up from all these different paths that I take as far as the marketing is concerned. What appliances will have to stay with the house? Well, typically the range, oven, a microwave if you have one, and a dishwasher are the standards that are going to have to remain with the house. Those are, everyone expects those to be with the property. If you want to take the refrigerator or the washer and dryer with you, that's certainly up to you. You can do that. A lot of buyers, especially if they're moving up from a smaller house or if they're renting and moving into their first house, they may not have those appliances. So if those are included, it could be a factor in which home they choose. So we can have a more detailed discussion on if and what you want to leave behind and what you want to take with you. But refrigerator, washer and dryer are more commonly taken with you. The other three are going to need to stay. Can I sell my house and buy another one at the same time? Yes, you can. It is exponentially more difficult than purchasing first or selling first and then buying a home, or buying a home first and then selling. Obviously, I get the understanding that it would be much simpler to pack up your house, close on it, close on the purchase of your new house, and just move all at once in one time on one day. I've done that in the past. It's not impossible. Now that the market's a little more balanced, it's probably feasible again. And your situation will dictate a lot of whether or not we can pull this off and what you're looking for. So that's probably another conversation that we'll have in detail, and we'll, like I said, play into your situation and if we can try and pull that off. Not everyone has the ability to buy a house first and qualify for 2 mortgages, while they're, ideally you would purchase, move to the new house, and then sell your old house. I know for most people that just isn't the norm, or isn't something that's possible. So we'll talk about your situation and see if it is possible. If we need to go this route, we certainly will give it a try. Does my alarm and video cameras have to stay with the house? It depends. This one has a little bit of gray area. If anything is mounted to the house, if that's light fixtures, things like that, they are expected to remain with the property. And I've got a list that I can show you. It's in the listing agreement. It'll also be in the purchase contract. If those are things that you want to take with you, it would be best. We can list your home and just put notes in the listing that A, B, and C are not going to be included. That you'll take them down and replace them if needed. So if you're taking a Ring doorbell away, you'll put in a standard doorbell. So you can certainly take those things with you. I just need to know ahead of time so that we make sure that the listing and the contract is set up correctly. Those are also things similar to the washer and dryer and refrigerator that might be a decision maker for a potential buyer. If a home already has a Ring doorbell and video cameras and some home automation stuff, that might be the thing that encourages them to choose your home over another. So we'll have a more detailed conversation. It will depend on what all you have at your house. Will you be doing an open house? I like doing open houses. I think there's a lot of benefits to them. There's pros and cons, like everything. I know it's can be an imposition on the weekend to go and spend 3 or 4 hours away from the house, especially if you have pets or children. But there are a lot of benefits. It's a great way for us to get the word out about your house being for sale. There's a lot of marketing I can do around an open house, and your neighbors can be a great source of potential buyers as well. If you're in a good neighborhood, people near you may know someone that wants to move into the area, and knowing about an open house is a great way for them to reach out and say, hey, come take a look at this house. You've talked about moving into the neighborhood, and here's your chance. So I know it's also a great way for us to get some feedback, especially if we're not getting many agent showings. We can get some people in the house, hear what they have to say about it, what they like and don't like, and also hear what they have to say about our price. So I like doing them, but I also understand that they're a lot of work and they're hard on the seller side too. So if it's just an absolute no-go for you, I fully understand that. So we'll talk more about it and see if it fits in with your situation. What documents do I have to sign? Well, like anything these days, any transaction of any kind has a ton of paperwork involved, and real estate is no different. So there's a whole nother series of videos on, we'll break down and explain each one of the documents that I'm going to ask you to sign. That will be part of the dashboard where you're seeing this video.